Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Lexi once again on my channel, the Millennial Matchmaker. I decided to change it up a little bit. Yes, I'm coming in from my kitchen. I wanted you guys to see my day-to-day, how I'm living, get to know me a little bit better. If I'm gonna match you, I think you gotta know me, right? So you guys wanna feel comfortable with how I live. I just put my fresh banana bread that I made yesterday evening in the oven so I could warm it back up and it could just get that little nice crisp feeling. It brings some nice fresh smell throughout the house, and it's just a great way to just enjoy my lunch break. I'm also sipping on some pumpkin spice coffee. It is fall time. I've got my pumpkin decorations up, and I'm just enjoying life. Okay, so we're going to talk, of course, about relationships today. And today we're just going to kind of freestyle because I just feel things coming from my heart and I wanted to switch it up a little bit. And one of the things that was really bothering me that I noticed again in the manosphere, in the red pill life, in the internet world, is talking as if a successful woman that has it all, it's harder for her to find someone, or that they scare men off, or all of these things that they make up to make women like myself feel ashamed about her accomplishments or feel down about her accomplishments. But then if she was broke, oh, that's another problem. So you can't be broke, you can't make money, you can't have a good job, you can't have a nice house, you can't have too much, have to have less than him. And what does it boil down to, ladies and gentlemen? To me, it boils down to insecurity. It boils down to manipulation. It boils down to success shaming. It happens for men. Some men, they make it, they get out of a bad situation. Family members bash them. They tell them they have to go back to where they came from, that they think they're better, that they stuck their nose out. And women, we achieve more. We break the glass ceiling as usual, and then what do we hear? Oh, she's too overly ambitious. She doesn't need a man. She thinks she's too good for a man. It's not that. It's like Judge Judy said, I got here not because I'm beautiful. I got here because I'm smart. Okay, so a lot of us women, you guys think because we're successful, we're rude, or we think we're better than what we are, or we downplay men, or we can't be with a man. And it's not that we can't be with a man or we can't be with a successful man. It's because obviously we got this way because we thought it through, we were smart, and we planned it. And I don't think that we get enough credit as we deserve. So what's a woman like me, successful and has my own life and has my own things together and can take care of my own home and my beautiful daughter on my own, but even those that don't have children, that are just living their best life. You guys like to hot girl summer it as if you guys didn't hot boy summer, as you guys didn't enjoy your frat parties, as if you guys didn't have fun throughout your 20s. But we're not allowed to have our fun. We're supposed to be married, barefoot, and pregnant by 25. No, gentlemen, that's not how it works. Okay, and we're starting to realize that it is fun to enjoy, and it is fun to just enjoy life, enjoy where we are, enjoy our success. We worked hard for it. Now we're playing hard. Work hard, play hard. And no, it's not that we don't want a successful man, but really true successful men, as I tell you, the guys that are not in the manosphere, the guys that don't even know what the red pill movement is, the guys that are really competitive and are too busy to be living on YouTube watching these channels, the men that are really gorgeous and fine and that have the options and have had relationship experience and also are married or with someone, these men are not intimidated by a successful woman. I'm gonna let you guys dissect that, okay? These men don't care that a woman is successful. These men embrace the fact that she's made it. This man brings her up. We see this time and time again, just like we saw in politics, Kamala Harris and her husband, beautiful post about each other. A man that's secure in himself, a man that knows what he wants, a man that understands that, yes, she could be fierce. We see it with Barack Obama. We see it with Prince Harry. We see it out there. Men that are completely content with a woman that is successful, that stands up for herself, that has her own, and that came in with her own and still wants to have a voice. Okay, we're not saying that we're not feminine. We do submit to the right man. We do submit to the man that we want. However, the success shaming has got to stop, gentlemen. And I saw another thing on a Manosphere channel, on a Red Pill channel, where I believe that I heard that you guys said, don't get me wrong here, that the woman needs to know that you've got other women, you've got other options, you've got other places that you could go, pretty much. Let me tell you again how we can debunk these lies that you gentlemen are listening to. Don't treat her too good. Don't make her the center of your world. You see it time and time again where it fails. I get where too much of anything is an overkill. Obviously, you can't smother anybody. You can't do it with your children. You can't do it with your pet. You can't do it with your parents. You can't do it with anybody. Anybody that feels like they're smothered, obviously, is going to want to go elsewhere. It's just like the push and pull method, right? However, not prioritizing your women is dangerous advice, gentlemen, because we know that all the couples that have been married and anyone that understands marriage, a successful marriage happens when there's a happy wife, happy life. The wife is happy and then the husband's happy. That's just how it works. And let me break that down a little bit further. Let's just look at the professions in which divorce rates are super high. The divorce rates are super high in the men and the people that have all these different options. Exactly what these channels are telling you not to do. Exactly what they're saying. Oh, make sure she knows you have options. Make sure she knows you've got all these different things. Those are the professions that have the highest divorce rate. So even if you might have gotten her to stagger down the aisle with you, even if you could have tricked her with your little mind games in the beginning, the divorce rate is up. The statistics show actually that after a woman turns 40, this is the time that divorce rates start to go down. So the older the woman is, the less likely you are to divorce. Okay, so we know the only reason why I say it on women, because we know women are the ones that usually file for divorce. We know that women are usually the ones that leave the marriages. So if women are the highest percentage of people that are filing these divorces, then it makes sense that we're looking at what age is this happening. And almost always you're seeing the earlier they get married, the more highly likely that they are to divorce. The later they get married, the less likely they are to divorce. So that again debunks the theory of trying to get a young chick out of the carriage and trying to wife her up and soup her up and think that she's not going to get woke and leave you down the line. You actually have a higher chance of a woman within your age range to stay with you. And this makes perfect sense. But before I get to that, let me take my little banana bread out the oven. Boy, oh boy, isn't it delicious? Isn't she lovely? I love a good banana bread. But anyways, that's gonna be delicious once it cools off. No, this is not a cooking channel. I'm just trying to eat while I talk and give you guys a little bit of knowledge. So this is why this makes perfect sense. It's just like men. You guys think that you guys are the only one, and we're supposed to believe that in your 20s you were just getting money, you were focusing on just your jobs, you were not having any fun, you were not dating and playing the field and lying and conniving and being the little hoochies that you guys are. And yes, I call you guys hoochies. And then you guys wanna fix yourselves up and make yourselves an honest man and turn 40 and say, oh, I'm sexy now, I've got a little bit of money, I'm gonna go back and still stay with the young chicks. So wait. You guys have been with the young chicks all through your 20s, you guys were with the young chicks all through your 30s, you guys still stayed with the young chicks, and now you're approaching 40 and you still think that you're gonna stay with the young chicks? That doesn't make any mathematical sense, because guess what? The divorce rates show that the woman, the older she gets, the more settled she is, which makes sense because while she's also having her hot girl summer, because the reality is we're doing the same thing. We're all doing the same thing. We're all going to the promised land, guys, just a different way. So the fact is, she's enjoying herself. Like I said, she's with her Ken. Barbie chose Ken, okay? Black Barbie, Hispanic Barbie, Latina Barbie, every single Barbie has chosen their Ken. If she's all that in a bag of chips, she's going to get with a winner, because she wouldn't have been all that being with a Buster or being with Old Man River. Unless Old Man River was Anna Nicole Smith type level money, then it's usually not going to happen. And like I told you, those are the 1%ers. So the majority of women, if they were beautiful in their youth, they're going to be with a man as well that was equal to them. And we see also how the divorce rates are sky high for huge age gap differences, but that's another story. I digress. You actually have a higher chance of it being more successful within your age range, but that's another story and that's another statistic. So let's just get back to what we were saying about the manosphere talking about women. It's that these jobs that you guys are choosing that have all these options, let's say bartender is on the top level. So obviously, if you're frequenting the bar or you're working around a lot of different women or you're seeing all these different options, everybody knows a bartender is going to have options. I've seen some fine ones myself, and you know that you see some women at the bar and you see them exchanging numbers and you know what's going to go down that night. Okay, so not saying necessarily that you're a bartender, but if you're hanging out in places where men have a lot of options, we see that the divorce rate is also very high. Okay, we look at casino workers, another leading cause of divorce in the industry. We look at flight attendants. Why do you think flight attendants have such a high divorce rate? Because they're flying, okay, and they're members of the Mile High Club, but that ain't my business, okay? So all you male travelers, corporate travelers, you're not a flight attendant, but you're doing the same lifestyle. So if your lifestyle is in line with these high divorce rates, don't turn around here and wonder why things aren't working out for you guys. Because this information that you're giving men on these red pill channels doesn't make sense. Let me give you guys another point. Let's take it on the flip side. Okay, Lexi, you're just bashing this. You're just a hater. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, whatever. Men have to have options, da 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 da. Let's just look at the professions that have the lowest divorce rate. I'm talking less than 10% divorce rate. Yes, I did. I pulled it up, and you could pull it up. And I challenge you guys to start Googling and looking at why women are choosing the winners, and that our age range and the profession and the lifestyle all makes a difference. And these are the same things, like we are been the conservatives. Women, we kind of have been the same since the beginning of time. We want the provider, we want the macho, we want the protector, we want the safe person that's going to give us the good sperm, that's going to give us the babies that we want, and that we're going to be happily ever after. It's been simple since the beginning of time. You men, unfortunately, have changed the game up. There's been a time where you guys were accepting of women your age, and you guys want to get younger now. Then now she can't have this, she can't have that. All of these things are coming up as rules, where before it used to be women that we were told have these lists, but I think that it's the men that have these lists. Because when you limit yourself to just all these lists and all these things, you're shaving off years of your life, months that you could have been in a relationship, and happiness. Because you got to look at the big picture. You got to look, when you look back at your life, the small details are not going to count. Okay? Whether she was in her 20s or her 30s is not really going to make a difference on your deathbed. You're going to still have the same children. You're still going to have a higher chance of staying with this woman. And you're probably going to have more years where you're enjoying your relationship. I look back and there's so many bad and wrongs that you could find in relationships. But then you've got to look at on the overall picture. Are you having fun? Are you getting what you want out of that relationship? And these lists are only limiting people, especially the men saying, oh, she's going to be hard to deal with. She's going to be this. Just like you. You're hard to deal with. You've already had your life at 40 plus. Then you want to come up here and try to school somebody and ruin my youth with your trauma that's happened to you at 40? Oh, honey, not on my parade. You ain't about to rain on my parade. You guys are trying to come over in the young group, and you guys have already ruined your youth. You guys got with the hell on wheels wife, then want to blame all women. Just like women, we have to take responsibility when we got an abusive relationship, when we got with a drug addict relationship, when we got with a man that wasn't no good. Whatever it is we dealt with in our 20s, we have to own it, and we have to, whether we play the victim or whatever it is, we've moved on. A lot of us have left those relationships. We want something real, and you guys have chosen the bitter, mean, evil Susie. And then you guys want to turn around and warn other men not to date that type of woman. However, you guys also had that choice, because we're not all that. We're not all that bad, okay? Just because you got taken advantage of because your limits are your options are limited, don't put that off on us, okay? Now I digress. We're going to talk about the jobs that have the lowest divorce rate. Does it surprise you that it's the member of the clergy? Yes, fellas. The head of the church, the man that puts his wife, only God is higher than his wife. the man that's not having all the options, the man that might have a whole bunch of women in the church, but he's sticking to the first lady. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that exactly the opposite of what you're saying? Because it really, like I always say, it goes back to what we're talking about. What do you really want out of life? You know, what do you really want out of life? Do you want to just be with a hot chick that's just could be using you and your high chance of divorce, and your kids are going to be gone and she's going to be screwing somebody else? And that's another thing that we're going to talk about. Men, you guys have a much higher problem getting with a young woman that's probably going to leave you guys, because she's going to get woke and realize she wants her youth back, like a lot of us do. We get back in our 30s, then we want to find something else. We want something different. We want something more mature. And then what you guys are so worried about is we don't want the reason why we keep the kids. The reason why we keep the kids is because we know what the woman that you're dating is thinking about our kids. Okay, I'm about to get deep for you guys. Let me give you guys a little secret, all you single mother bashers. The day you guys have kids as men, you guys are screwed. Why do I say that? Well, let's just talk about the tale as old as time. Ever heard of the term evil stepmother? Notice we've never heard of the term evil stepfather, right? There's just something about an evil woman with a man that finally had children, because it's going to happen to the best of us. Even if you chose perfectly, there's going to be 51% of you guys that will stay married, but there's going to be 49% that's going to be divorced. And when you're divorced and you think that you're going to be out here coaching men to get with these young women with the high chance to leave you and leave you with children, you're going to have a much harder time. You might find a woman, but that woman, does that mean she's going to be good to your children? Yeah, you might not have them as much, but even in that little bit of time, guys, just go back to Cinderella. Let me tell you something about a man. A man, as much as we want to talk about him stepping up as a stepfather, being a father in this relationship that wasn't, whatever we want to call a stepfather, a man that has sacrificed, I believe in our heart of hearts that most women know that your child is safe with that man for the most part. If you've done your research, you really love this guy, he's got a clean Carfax, and he's a good guy, I think that you've got a high chance that when you're not there, he's going to treat even if you have children with him and you've got a child from a previous marriage, you have almost a 90% chance that I feel that most men are fair. That's why there's no evil stepfather notion. They might be mad that they gave up their resource, they might have raised a child, but 9 times out of 10, a woman is going to feel safe with that man. Tell me why that doesn't work for women. Women, like Cinderella, you might leave and your child will be down in the cellar. Okay? I'm just trying to tell y'all some knowledge, okay? You fathers bashing, you men bashing women. The women are better off with the kids and having a new man in the picture, because actually the woman in the picture might have your kids scrubbing in the attic. Why do I say that? Women are a lot more conniving, jealous, malicious, manipulative, hidden agendas. I talked about this in the secrets. Watch my secrets video. The manipulation, the guilt tripping. We think of things 20 steps ahead of you. You might be walking in what you don't think is a war zone, but we got little time bombs that's just ready to explode at any time that you walk in. Tell me if I'm lying, guys. So a lot of you gentlemen that feel that the real danger is dating the single mother, no, the danger is having a child with a woman that you have a 49% chance is going to leave you, and then you have to go back out in the dating world, and that's what's going to happen. You might want to stay with that woman. You might want to make her happy, because the thing is, when you go back in the dating world, I think men are going to have a much harder chance, especially the younger you are, because it takes an emotionally mature person in order to really raise a child wholeheartedly and to be not selfish and to be fair. And these are things that have lost our relationship world. And that's why I wanted to get deep with you guys, is that a lot of these men bashers are not looking at their picture and are not looking at why the woman might be the way she is, and might not be looking at maybe sometimes we know what's gonna happen when we leave y'all. And that's why we keep our kids. We know that that chick, not gonna be pretty. She might be pretty on the outside, but she don't like your kids either, okay? So I think it's much more deadly for a man to believe that he can date again with children than a woman with children. And I hope that just kind of marinates. Just remember, evil stepmother, not evil stepfather. Remember, you're gone and your child might be in the cellar. Remember, that woman's 10 steps ahead. She might be thinking of a master plan of your kids. And it's just something that men don't really process. Yeah, you guys might be a little frustrated that the kid's a little shitty, but I think that men really are not taking into account that you guys have a lot more weighing on children when you have them. Like I said, your last name's given up, your child support's given up, your future's given up. And if you get with a woman that's probably going to leave you anyway, because that's just what the statistics show, unless you go a little bit older and stay in your range, I really think that people are going to see a big blow up in marriages, and men are going to get in a new renaissance, a new change that's going to happen, and the red pill is going to be gone forever. Because unfortunately, men, I'm just going to let you guys know that you better pick better, you better pick wisely, and you better pick quickly. And at least I have a conversation about people that are having children, because quite frankly, a lot of you guys just aren't. Looking at the statistics, if you're closer to 45 and we know that the younger chicks are not going to be with you, you better go get used to an adoption agency. And you're still going to be raising another man's kid, because you're going to have to adopt your kid, because nobody's going to be able to birth anything past 47 years old, okay? So the older you get on the spectrum, the more you're going to need to start looking for, surrogates or other options, because it's just being real. We're going to see a world of single people, or we're going to see a boom. OurTime.com is going to crash, guys. Have y'all seen OurTime.com for the old folks dating? You watch those subscriptions go up in the next 20, 30 years, because everybody's having a hot girl, hot boy summer. Everybody's got their list out the booty. Everybody's got these long lists of people that they don't want, and this checklist, and this political view, and this background, and this religion, and this lifestyle, and that thing. And before you know it, years have passed, and you're still listing, and you're going to be old. You're going to be writing that Constitution. It's going to be something where you're old and gray, just like the men that wrote the founding fathers is what you're going to look like. You're going to be the founding fathers with an old fountain pen still writing your list down, and you're going to look around and say, oh, Lord, I got to get on OurTime.com. Oh, man, my age, you mean I can't even get on Match anymore? Bumble's gone? Yes, because every year, and that's what y'all don't know, these dating profiles, they get your birthday. So you don't even got to update your age. They just keep on. Every year you're on there, it's 45, 46. And yeah, you might have gotten a short-term relationship. That happens a lot. Oh, I dated a girl briefly. I dated a girl briefly. I dated a girl briefly. These brief dating don't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything when you're on OurTime.com and you're a founding father and you're old as crap, because you got all of these long lists that's blocking you from the woman that you could be with. I say it to gentlemen, but I always say it to women as well. A lot of times why women are still playing the field is because we're seeing the signs. We're probably being shamed. Like we said, the success, there's so many different values and things that men want. A lot of men are putting so many demands on women. And studies show that men actually live longer being married. Women, we actually do better single. Not saying that we should ever reach to be single. I really believe that everybody needs somebody. And that's why I am matchmaking. But at the same time, I'm matchmaking for people that have to open up open it up a little bit. So again, we look at the clergy. Why do you think the pastor is not divorcing? Because his wife is cherished to a different level. Now, not saying that he doesn't have a life. And of course, she's the center. Well, God is probably the center of their life, and then the wife. However, we know that he's got a church to run. He's got a message to give. So let's just swap that out with anything. You still have to have your purpose as a man. So I get that. Chase your purpose first. You've got to chase whatever you're put on this planet to do. You've got to chase whatever you're called to do. Do that. Do it wholeheartedly. However, remember that that wife better be your first lady. The clergy is number one. Physicians. It makes sense, right? They've done 10-year plus medical school. They're not scared of commitment. They have a great lifestyle. Last time I checked, salary's pretty high. So what's a woman to complain about? So when we see that the divorce rates are actually lower for people that are winners, men that are in power. If you're running a church, you're in power. If you're a physician, you're in power. Actuaries also are in the higher spectrum of salary. These are jobs that are having the lowest divorce rate. What are the highest divorce rate? The bartenders, the casino workers, the salary's lower, and the lifestyle has all these different women, all these different options. So the thing, it shows that the more liberal and the more crazy things are getting, the less likely that you're going to actually find the right person, because you're getting all these lists and you're the bartender and you're out making drinks and you're out party, and you're going to end up a founding father. You're going to be old and gray and on OurTime.com. So try not to get on Our Time. Try not to make sure it's just going to be a brief one. Look out for the red flags. And if you can't delete your list, then go somewhere where you're going to find that list. So that's another thing. A lot of these men, I've seen it. There'll be Jewish men going on dates with me, saying that they want ultimately a Jewish family. There might be a brown guy going on dates saying that, ultimately they want, they see themselves with a Hindu girl, which apparently got to be born Hindu. Or they have to have an arranged marriage. Or you go on a date with a Latino or a white. It's just so many different people are going on dates, and it's like, why are you even here? Did you read? It's like applying for a job. If you're applying to be a freaking carpenter, why is your credential saying plumber? And then you're going there talking about plumbing, and we're here doing a carpentry job. So don't waste people's time. If you're going to keep a long behind list, that's your business. Keep your list. But go places. If you want to be with a Jewish girl, go to the synagogue. Go to Israel. If you want to be with a Hindu girl, go back to India. Get with an Indian. If you want to be with a hardcore Christian girl, go to the church. Figure it out in the church. If you want to be with anything that you want to be with, start looking in that section and stop going into the general public of people that have showed you what they want, because a lot of these dates are wasted time. Let's just be real, they're wasted time. You knew from the snapshot what the person was going to give you, or an idea of what they were going to give you. So why are you on these platforms talking about the opposite thing? That's why I said, can't win for losing, guys. And I can't just blame my young guys, because a lot of young guys actually, to me, have impressed me compared to some of these older guys that, like I said, have lived their life, rode their carousel, jacked their junk up, have ex-wife from hell, have some children, and some even that don't. Some never married, no children, no experience. It's just like, why do you guys think that at 45 it's going to happen, and it hasn't happened in 45 years? That's freaking half a century. And I don't see things changing. So again, I'm just trying to debunk some of these methods. I just want to leave you guys with some knowledge that we see that people that have a moral compass. So I'm not saying you have to be Christian. That's not what I'm saying. I personally am Christian, but I'm friends and I would open to date all different religions. I mean, like I said, my second husband's Muslim. So, I can't sit here and I have no discrimination, if that's the word. But I'm just saying that make sure that you see what is actually getting divorced and what's actually staying, and then listen to these red pillars, and they're telling you exactly the things that are getting the highest divorce rate. That's what you need to do. Have your options, do this, be out, do, all these different things are actually giving you more divorce. And the guy that's the church guy, the doctor that's been consistent, that probably was the nerd, the engineers that probably were the techie or the mathematician or those kind of jobs, are the ones that are actually having the lowest divorce rate. So actually it's showing you that women prefer a more stable, a more solid, a more consistent, a more successful as far as finances go. That kind of job is what's getting the lowest divorce rate.